All right, so here are 7 real ways for you to become a disciplined person so you can reach your goals. Number one is to identify areas of growth. I'm just trying to focus on the camera properly here. But yeah, number one, identify areas of growth. So, where is it where you would like to be more disciplined? Where would you like to grow? All right. Is it with your finances? Is it with your diet, your eating habits? Is it with your exercise routines? Is it with keeping up with certain disciplines in regards to mastering a skill or develop or rather gaining more knowledge? Like, where is it? What are you trying to acquire? What area do you want to develop, right? And when you have this in mind, then you can take the next steps forward. But obviously, you can't discipline yourself in any area unless you first know what it is that you want to be disciplined in. And a good rule of thumb in order to really hone in on this is ask yourself, what's causing you the most pain? What's causing you the most friction in your life right now? Is it your finances? Are things a little bit tight for you financially? Is it your health and fitness? Are you constantly getting sick, or do you have some type of illness that is reoccurring? Do you run out of breath when you go for a simple walk around your block or up a flight of steps, right? These are the areas that you need to pay attention to, that you need to consider when you are looking to add more discipline into your life. Consider these areas, okay? So that's number one. Identify your areas of growth. Number two is to take baby steps. I used to, and I'll admit, sometimes I still do this. Sometimes, like when I develop, or rather, when I decide on an area that I want to become more disciplined in, excuse me, I develop a regime and I end up biting off more than I can chew. It's too much for me at the time. And because I'm a disciplined person and I see myself as a disciplined person, I think that I can handle it. And sometimes I can, but then sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's just too much, and then I have to dial it back a little bit. And so the same is probably going to be true for you. You gotta take those baby steps at first. Start small, but keep the big picture in mind. And so I'll give you an example. If it's your finances and you want to start saving more money, then don't tell yourself that you're going to save 20% of your income. That's a good goal to have. We should all aim at 20%, actually, I believe. But tell yourself that you're just going to put away like $100 a month, or maybe $20 a week, or something like that. Like, make it small, make it something that you can easily do, that you can easily just start getting the habit of performing every single week or every single month, or whatever kind of regime that you're setting up for yourself, right? Make it simple, and then you can build on it from there, because little things, they lead to big results if you're able to stay consistent with them and do it for a long enough period of time. I've touched on this in numerous videos in the past, as well as many articles. But so I'm not going to get into it right now, but the principle is still the same. You start small, you think big. All right. So that's number two, take baby steps. Number three is get others to hold you accountable. So this is big. I've had a couple of accountability partners now for about 6 months. I've had them on and off throughout the years, but the latest ones that I've had, or that I currently have, are ones that I've had for about half a year. And it's been great. It's just something that holds your feet to the fire. It really forces you to follow through, to make sure that you're going to do it. And so if you have trouble staying disciplined, then having an accountability partner in your life could be absolutely essential. And there are 3 things that I want you to consider for your accountability partner, or 3 things that you need to do in order to make this relationship successful, I should say. And number one is obvious: share your goals and ambitions with them. Share what it is that you want them to hold you accountable to. This is absolutely critical. Like, this is the first step, right? So just whatever it is that you want them to hold you to the fire to, tell them about it, share those guidelines, put that framework in front of them so they know what it is that you are incorporating as your new standard in your life. Number two, weekly check-ins. So whether preferably a phone call, or it's even better if you can meet in person, but at the very least a phone call. Don't be doing no text for your weekly check-ins. There's just something about a text when you're doing it that makes it feel more distant, and it's less real, it's less potent, it's not as powerful. And so you want to be able to have weekly check-ins where you're at bare minimum just calling each other, even if it's for 10 to 20 minutes, where you're just going over your previous week, talking about your goals, what's working, what's not, what you can do to improve. This is absolutely essential. The weekly check-in, do not neglect this part if you're going to get an accountability partner. You need to have the weekly check-in, all right? And then the last thing you need, number 3, for the accountability partner to work for you, or this relationship to work for you, is get some skin in the game. All right. So if you have no incentive of losing anything if you don't follow through, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to actually follow through. All right. So something needs to be on the line. It could be money. It could be sometimes it's your reputation. I always recommend money just because it's easy, it's tangible, it's measurable, and it's just really, and nobody wants to lose money. So it's just a good measuring stick. It's something that you can put on the line. So if you don't follow through on one of your goals, for example, one of your commitments, then you owe your accountability $500 or, $200 or whatever, right? Just put something sizable on the line that would suck if you lost it. So that's number three. Or sorry, no, that is number three. Get others to hold you accountable. I'm just going through my article here that I wrote and kind of regurgitating it back to you guys here. Number four is reward yourself for progress. I have trouble with this one too, but I think it's really important. We need to acknowledge our efforts that we put forth, because when we do this, it communicates to ourselves that, number one, what we're doing is important, because we wouldn't reward ourselves for something if it didn't matter. And then number two, it helps to balance everything out, because too much of anything is bad, even if it's quote unquote good. All right. And too much discipline, if you're just gung ho all the time, you have no off button, your whole life is just structured, and there's no leeway for you to actually enjoy yourself every once in a while. It's like, that's not healthy, right? You got to have a bit of a balance going on. And so I recommend that you do something to reward yourself for following through. All right. Don't just be giving yourself these treats and rewards and these acknowledgments if they're unearned, if they're not deserved. All right. So if you're following through every week, if you're doing what you got to do, if you're adhering to the standards you've set for yourself, then yeah, by all means, do something nice for yourself. I think that's really important. And that's a clear sign of maturity, in my opinion. Number five, use apps. I recommend habit tracker apps, or you can use a Google Calendar or some type of calendar, or even just a real live calendar. I have actually one back here where I actually just mark down, I put like a big X through each day that I adhere to my standards. And you see that X develop over time, and there's like a psychological motivating force behind that. You just start to feel good, and you just want to see that string of days get longer and longer and longer. It's really interesting. But use some kind of tool or some kind of application to help you stay disciplined. A good habit tracker that I use is, I think it's just called Habit Tracker. I'll find it and I'll put a link to it in the description below, but you can download it. It's free, super easy, and super simple to use, and it just helps you to keep you accountable, right? You can almost think of it as a digital to-do list. And as a matter of fact, start a to-do list as well. That's a good tool that you can also incorporate into your toolbox. All right. So apps and tools, those are very effective. That's number five, to help make you a disciplined person so you can reach your goals. Number six, and so I think I said there were seven, but there's actually six. I only have six for you today. Number six is a little bit of a lofty one. It's the 100-day challenge. And so what this is, I wrote about this in my book, The Disciplined Mind. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. You can check that out. But what I talk about in this challenge is, for 100 consecutive days, you are performing a specific routine of your choice, whatever it is that you want to develop or add into your discipline toolkit, so to speak. You practice it for 100 straight days, back to back, or it can be a multitude of disciplines. Maybe you want to incorporate a bunch of them. When you're just starting out, I don't recommend that, but if you're more experienced and you're already a bit more of a disciplined person, then go for it. But if you're just starting out, just do one, maybe two disciplines that you want to incorporate, and do those every single day for 100 straight days. If you miss a single day, I don't care if you're on day 99. If you miss that, you start all over again from one. All right. And there's just something about, I don't have any psychological or scientific studies to back this up, but there's just something really magical, in my opinion, about 100 days. I just feel like that's a good, solid magic number to really see changes in your life, to see developments, to see growth. It's like going to the gym. It's like, for the first week, working out every day, you're not going to see anything. For the first month, you might see something, but it's going to be hardly noticeable still at that point. But after that 2-month mark, after that 3-month mark, it's like the results will begin to show. All right. So 100 straight days, practice that, whatever discipline you want to do for 100 days. And I guarantee you, it'll be a part of your character. You'll be a disciplined person, guaranteed. But that's all I have for today. I kind of rushed through this video. I'm actually on my way to jiu-jitsu class in a few minutes here, so I don't have a lot of time. But I just wanted to film this really quick, get it out of the way for you guys. But yeah, if you're interested in more self-improvement tips, be sure to sign up for the Motivated and Disciplined newsletter below. I'll link to that as well into the description box. But I will see you all next time. Stay motivated and disciplined. Peace.